This is the Edgefield Broadcast Network, bringing you the important news of the day.
The US and Britain launched another wave of attacks on Saturday targeting Iran-backed groups, striking 36 Houthi targets in Yemen on Saturday following Friday strikes, targeting Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Force and militias in Iraq and Syria. The strikes come after a drone attack that killed 3 U.S. service members and wounded dozens in Jordan. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said in a statement that the military action, with support from Australia, Bahrain, Canada, Denmark, the Netherlands, and New Zealand, sends a clear message to the Houthis that they will continue to bear further consequences if they do not end their illegal attacks on international shipping and naval vessels. On Friday, the US launched 85 strikes targeting Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Force and militias in Iraq and Syria tied to the drone strike in Jordan last Sunday. US officials said targets included rockets, missiles, drones and logistics systems used by militias to attack the U.S. and its allies, as well as centers for command and control and intelligence. As areas of western Iraq and eastern Syria took stock of the damage on Saturday, over 60 had been killed, including rank-and-file fighters, according to government, militia and human rights sources. Tensions between the US and Iran-backed fighters had been on the rise since October 7 when Hamas militants breached southern Israel, killing about 1,200 and taking hostages. The war that has been ongoing since has seen about 26,000 Palestinians killed. The fighters targeted are loosely allied with Hamas and carried out drone strikes on bases where U.S. troops were stationed late last year. The United States does not seek conflict in the Middle East or anywhere else in the world, U.S. President Joe Biden said Friday. But let all those who might seek to do us harm know this: if you harm an American, we will respond. How many people were killed in the US retaliatory strikes Friday? 7 facilities were targeted, 3 in Iraq and 4 in Syria, according to John Kirby, White House spokesman for national security issues. The strikes lasted about half an hour, he said, and were carefully planned to avoid civilian casualties. According to Syrian opposition activists, the strikes hit the Imam Ali base near Bukamal, the Ein Ali base in Qaya, and a radar center near the provincial capital. Rami Abdurrahman of the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, which is based in Britain, said 29 fighters were killed in those strikes. At the border between Iraq and Syria, the strikes hit a border crossing used by militia called Humaydiyah. According to Europe-based Omar Abiulayla, who heads the Deir Ezzar 24 media outlet, an Iraqi government spokesperson, Bassem Ayawadi, said the border strikes killed 16 people and caused damage to homes. Strikes in western Iraq also hit a logistical support post, a tanks battalion, an artillery post and a hospital, killing 16 people and wounding 36 more, the Iran-backed militia Popular Mobilization Force said. What happened in the attack that killed Americans? 3 U.S. Army reservists were killed and at least 40 were wounded last weekend in a drone attack at a U.S. base along the Jordanian-Syrian border, the first U.S. troops killed by enemy fire in the Middle East since the Israel-Hamas war began. Biden and other officials blamed the attack on Iran-backed militants. The attack hit a logistics support base in Jordan near the border with Syria, where about 350 U.S. Army and Air Force personnel have been based to support the fight against ISIS militants. The 3 fallen troops SGD. William Jerome Rivers of Carrollton, Georgia. SGT, Breonna Moffett of Savannah, and SGT, Kennedy Sanders of Waycross were returned to the U.S. on Friday at Dover Air Force Base, where Biden joined their families. The President and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin have indicated more retaliatory strikes are likely. Our response began today, Biden said, Friday. It will continue at times and places of our choosing. Will Iran-backed fighters retaliate? Iran and the groups it supports in the Middle East are hoping to put pressure on the U.S. to force Israel to end its Gaza offensive, but don't appear to want an all-out war. On Saturday, the Islamic Resistance in Iraq, an umbrella for Iran-backed groups, said it carried out 2 drone attacks on bases housing U.S. troops in Iraq and Syria. Iran has sought to distance itself from the attacks on the U.S. service members, saying the militias act independently. Iraq's foreign ministry said Saturday it would summon the U.S. embassy's Chag Dafarais to deliver a formal protest over U.S. strikes on Iraqi military and civilian sites. One Iraqi leader, Hussein Mosawi, spokesperson for Harakat Nujaba, one of the main Iranian-backed militias in Iraq, in an interview with the Associated Press on Saturday, condemned the U.S. strikes but said, "We do not wish to escalate or widen regional tensions."